Hello, this is Jen from Windrose Fiber Studio. Today, let's crochet the everyday circle scarf. For this project, you'll need approximately 100 yards or 92 meters of a medium to bulky weight yarn. I have decided to try out this Thick and Thin by Yarnspirations. I'm using a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. I've also got a yarn needle, scissors, a stitch marker, and you'll need either a ruler or measuring tape. I have been wanting to try out this Bamboo Bloom hand paints by Yarnspirations for a while. This color is called Arigato, but I also think something like Wonder Fluff would be amazing. This feels so soft and nice next to the skin. This is by Knit Picks. Hometown, I love their tweed. This is a bulky size 6 weight. That works really well. And just be sure to select a crochet hook that is right for your yarn. I chose a 5.5 millimeter to help accommodate the thickest part of this Thick and Thin. We're going to begin our project with a row of foundation single crochet that is a multiple of 4 plus 1 and measures 50 inches or 127 centimeters long. If you're unfamiliar with a foundation single crochet, there are lots of great tutorials for this stitch on YouTube, and I will find one for you and link it in the description below. I chose to use a foundation single crochet for this circle scarf because it means that both the first and last rounds will have the same amount of elasticity. If you're uncomfortable with a foundation single crochet, you can chain a multiple of 4 plus 2 and then single crochet across beginning in the second chain from your hook. If you use a standard chain, I would recommend making this chain nice and relaxed or even go up a hook size just for your beginning chain. This will help to ensure that the first round of your circle scarf is even in tension to your last round. All of that being said, I've tried to do my first few stitches nice and slow. If you are a visual learner, you may be able to pick up this stitch simply by watching. Otherwise, please don't get frustrated. I will be sure to include a tutorial in the links below, and you can always fall back on just doing a standard beginning chain. Remember, we need to meet 2 criteria. We want our first row to be 50 inches long, and we want our stitch count to equal a multiple of 4 plus 1. Working with this thick and thin yarn, I've ended up with a total of 133 stitches. So let's go ahead and dive into round 1. We're going to chain 5, and then being very careful not to twist our work. You can see that I'm working my way slowly across this foundation chain, making sure that there's no twist in my chain. And I'm working my way all the way to the other end. Here we are at the beginning, and I'm going to skip the first 3 stitches, and I'm going to work a single crochet into this 4th stitch of our beginning foundation single crochet. I'm going to go ahead and mark our first single crochet, and then I'm going to pause for just a moment and use the beginning tail to weave the 2 ends of my foundation single crochet together. Once again, make sure there's no twist in your work, and just thread your beginning tail onto your yarn needle and sew these 2 ends together. With that accomplished, we can carry on with the repeating pattern of round 1. You'll chain 5, Then you're going to skip the next 3 stitches and then work a single crochet in the next stitch. You repeat this all the way around. So you chain 5, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and then single crochet in the next stitch. Repeat this simple pattern all the way around, and I'll meet you at the end of round 1. So here we are at the end of round 1. Here's our last chain 5. We're going to skip 3, single crochet in the next stitch, and then there's going to be 1 stitch remaining. You're going to skip that stitch, and then that loop right before your stitch marker, that is the first loop of round 2. For rounds 2 through 7, you will chain 5 and then single crochet in the next loop. To keep track of your rounds, it's helpful to place your stitch marker in the first loop or chain 5 space of every round. So here I am working my very first chain 5 single crochet of round 2. I'm just going to go ahead and place my stitch marker in that first loop. When I get back to that stitch marker, I know that I'll be at the end of round 2 and moving on to round 3. This is such a simple pattern. Once you get to this point, sit back, relax, enjoy some easy crochet, and I'll see you at the end of round 7. To be honest, I was having some real doubts about my yarn choice at this point. I don't think that this yarn was the best choice to showcase the yarn itself or to showcase this little pattern. I decided to keep on going though and give the yarn a chance. Sometimes you just don't know how things will look until you reach the very end. Here we are at the end of round 7. You can count 2, 4, 6, 7. And of course, you could keep right on going if you wanted a thicker scarf. The yarn that I'm using is going to make a thinner scarf. If you compress these rows, you can see it's just measuring right around 2 inches. And even though we'll be doubling this scarf around our neck, this particular yarn is going to make a thinner scarf. If I wanted it to be a thicker scarf, I could simply add more rounds. Speaking of rounds, let's head into round 8, our final round. You're going to half double crochet in the same loop, mark that stitch, and then you're going to half double crochet in the next stitch, and then you're going to work 3 half double crochets in the next loop. Half double crochet in the next stitch and go back to the beginning of the repeat. You'll work 3 half double crochets in the next loop, and then half double crochet in the next stitch. Continue this repeating pattern all the way around until you reach your last loop. When you reach your last loop, the loop right before your stitch marker, you're going to work 2 half double crochets into this last loop, and then you can slip stitch to your first half double crochet and finish off. Go ahead and weave in this ending tail, and then we'll have a look at our finished piece. Here we are at the big reveal, and all the slow-mo in the world is probably not going to keep this thick and thin yarn from looking a little quirky. In fact, I just couldn't take it, so I went back and I grabbed that skein of Hometown and whipped up a second scarf. I just really wanted you to be able to see the stitch pattern more clearly, and I knew the Hometown would give me the stitch definition that I was looking for. Hometown is a size 6 bulky yarn, and I used the exact same hook. I used a 5.5 millimeter hook, and you can see this makes a much thicker circle scarf, but also one that has a lot more stitch definition. I happen to love the tweed. I love the addition of texture and color, and I'm sort of wishing I chose this yarn in the first place. On the positive side, now you get to see this pattern worked up in two very different kinds of yarn. I love this pattern because it's quick and easy, and also it's so customizable. You can choose your length, you can choose your thickness, you can showcase whatever kind of yarn you want to showcase. I'm really loving the way this tweed made up. It's also very thick and warm. It feels soft next to your skin, so I think this is a really nice choice. Was I being too harsh on the thick and thin? Let's have another look. Let's give it another chance. What do you think? It's definitely a little quirky, weird, different. Insert the appropriate word. Maybe it's just not good. I don't know, but hey, we gave it a shot. So that's going to be all for today. Please hit like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.